Hi, I'm Yapo,
And I'm Agent 355.
and welcome back to Poxnora. It's been a while though.
Long while. Like 16 years at least.
Actually, while I was waiting for you to get online to talk about this, I went and looked at how long I've been playing Poxnora, and it's since the middle of 2008.
Wow, that we're almost up to 7 years of you playing this game.
Yeah, I realized that and got very sad.
Time passages.
And then I
Okay.
felt slightly better because there were like five other goons playing, and they all started before I did. So I was like, okay, I'm not the worst.
Yeah, safety in numbers. You just gotta meet people who have more sad hobbies than you do.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm safe.
All right.
So this is Paladins that I'm playing. And
Is that,
we're starting off with Paladins this time because they were the most popular in the last round. So I figure, yeah, why not?
is that a whole race? This paladin race is this like D&D 2.0 where like dwarf is a class?
No, Dwarf is a race, Paladin is a class.
Dwarf. All right. Right. Yeah, but not in D&D 2.0. In D&D 2.0, dwarf was a class.
Well,
It was funny.
this is not D&D. So I've got barbarians, angels, humans, and dwarves. I think there's a human or two in here.
And they're all right, but they're all paladins. So you got dwarf paladins, angel paladins.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're all Paladin bros. So since the last time we've done this, there fairly recently has been a huge revamp of the game that I figure we can talk about a little bit while things are kind of developing here. So it used to be level 3 champs were always better than level 1 champs. Full stop. I mean, there was just no question. But they've
Right.
changed it a little bit, so now there are upgrade trees where you can pick one of like three options from an upgrade tree, and they're all
Mm-hmm.
worth different Nora amounts. So it's not always in your benefit to have a higher level because if you then you can change the Nora levels and stuff. But there's still some disadvantage to having a higher level because you either have to pay more Nora for a better skill or pay less for a worse skill. So it helps balance it out a little bit and helps the newbies get started a little more.
So sometimes you'll make your unit better, but it costs more to summon him out. And in other cases, you can actually intentionally make him worse to make him cheaper.
Yep.
Huh.
Actually, I think there's a couple ones in here that I've intentionally made worse to make them cheaper. Just because sometimes the skills aren't super great, or like it's just you don't plan on using them very much or whatever, so you make them cheaper to because cheaper is better if you don't need it. In addition to that, they've really done a good job of making some of the units that were nigh impossible to get substantially more affordable. All the ones that used to be like you had to play for like weeks on end to even have a chance at getting them have now been made available to basically turn your old units into. And I got like four or five of these like crazy expensive ones just by turning in my extra like rares and uncommons. So
No, so if either cards you didn't play or cards you already had duplicates of or
yeah,
whatever.
and so that part's been really helpful too. It's made it a lot more accessible and been like, oh, I want to play this deck. Oh, I can afford it. No problem. I can have all the cool shit. But paladins are really strong. They've been nerfed. Everything has been nerfed a little bit. That was part of the revamp. Is everything got nerfed into the ground? Like things that used to have like 15, 16 damage now have like 8 or 9. Like anything over 10 damage is
It, to
considered.
to fight the years of power creep, to kind of
Yeah,
bring it back to par.
yeah, and so that part's kind of nice, but it's also kind of lame because a lot of the really cool dudes from this faction got nerfed as well. But they're still pretty good. So the paladin's big gimmick is they're really hard to kill, and they've got a lot of healing and cleansing stuff, so it's hard to get them out. Although they're all fairly expensive. And this guy, I don't really know
No,
what.
he is.
Yeah, he's rushing hard.
No, go ahead.
I don't really know
Yeah,
what
he's all up in your shit.
to call what he's playing, but
Golems.
yeah, well that one's a golem, but then there's like a giant wolf thing and a dog person, a couple dog people, a couple different dog people
Called
actually.
See, they're called gnolls. If you play D&D, you would know this.
Well, one's a hyena dog thing, and the other one's a I don't even another kind of dog thing. I don't know
I
why
think
they
there's
need
both
multiple
still
dog
gnolls.
things, but
I think dog people are always gnolls. Pretty sure.
it could
You
be.
just get different breeds. Yeah.
I don't know. But this is fairly standard for me, is playing this deck as I get rushed to hell. And then I have to fight my way back, because having resources is overrated, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, he only sent one guy off to his little thing, and then everyone else he sent to yours. Well, you sent everybody to your own. So,
I kind of had to if I wanted to hold on to it, because the guy I sent out first, he was the only guy I had, so I had to put him out, and he's not the best. In fact, he's the one I've been asking people, like, what should I to get to replace this guy? Because I really hate him and he's terrible. But so I mean, he's not like terrible, terrible, but he's got really bad damage and just I just don't like him.
he's got a stupid face.
He does. He's got a really dwarvy face. His art's pretty cool though. I don't know if I click on him.
Holy art is pretty good.
And the one that's selected right now, I don't know if you saw it, but oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. That's pretty good art. Most of the art in this game is pretty good, or entirely too fan servicey, one or the other.
Yeah, it kind of comes in waves because like they get a couple that are like really really fan servicey, and then they're like, okay guys, we got to dial this back. This is too much. And then they get some people who are like, oh yeah, this is pretty cool fantasy art, like the golem there. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty
Yeah,
basic, but it gets the point across. It's pretty cool. So that is a spell called Whispers of the Mind. That's dildos. I hate that spell. It makes you lose all your
this
AP when you try and attack, and it's hidden, so you don't know who it's casted on.
that's wonderful. This rock guy looks like he's about to get his shit wrecked.
Yep, and they introduced a new spell since the last time I've played this called Might of Ironfist, which means my guy he loses 10 health and gets an extra 5 damage and gets an ability where he can attack twice. But with this particular guy that I cast it on, every time he makes 2 attacks, he can heal himself. So he just healed himself from the 10 damage, the 10 health he lost, and he's fine.
Hmm.
So it's kind of
That
really,
synergy.
really, really cheap in this faction when you have so much healing running around, because it's like, oh, no biggie. That guy with the sword and the shield's my new favorite, though.
Yeah, you linked him to me yesterday. So happy about him. I don't know why though.
Because he's got, like, there's no reason to ever not play him. He can heal himself, he gets his damage built up when he's next to people and does attacks, and he's resistant to the most common damage type in the game. So, and he's cheap. Like, what is there to not love?
Get a boring picture. How
He
about that?
does. He's a very boring dude because it's just like, oh, here's a dude in full armor with a kite shield.
That's
Nothing's.
not a dog person. That's clearly a bear person.
I think it's just a very hairy
Look how
dog.
much. Oh, look how much bigger he is. That's a bear dude. I don't know. I don't know what you call a bear person. Maybe he's a werebear.
Oh, but bears aren't
That's really.
don't go in packs.
Yeah, but he's all by himself. I mean, he's got the gnolls next to him, but that gnoll's not part of his pack. He's just happens to be there. The bear allows him to stick around because I don't know, it's like a parasite.
because he's a friendly bear, or
It's like a remora. It's a remora gnoll. He just kind of sticks to the bear and eats eats scraps.
helps keep the bear clean.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, let's see. But the problem with parasites is they multiply. So now we got more gnolls. Bear's gonna have to take pills to get rid of them now. You laugh, but you know it's true.
I can't even talk about this video right now. So yeah, this guy's pressing really hard, which
Yeah,
isn't
big
good
pile of
because
dudes.
I'm gonna push his shit in because it's how I roll. At least I think. I
When your
did.
guy, well, and your guy gets more damage when he punches next to his own dudes. So this works out.
Yeah, and I did that in the wrong order. I just realized I am very rusty. This is like the third game I've played since I stopped recording the first time. So it's been a while. I'm not quite up to the level I once was.
Yeah, you weren't very good to begin with anyway.
That's just harsh.
All I know is that I'd always get messages to say I was going to get the next Poxer game recorded, but then I lost, so I have to record a different one because you cherry pick matches like a jerk.
Okay, now the first game I actually tried with this deck, I was losing really badly, but then my internet shit itself, and so it just like ended in the middle of the video, and I was like, okay, I can't really use that. So I feel like I had a
Would
decent excuse on that one.
have been really funny. Would have been a good allegory for your would have been a great allegory for your last LP. Was going well, kind of bad, and then it ended.
Just because I was like, just because I was like, no, I hate this game, doesn't mean it was bad. I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
Well, mostly I just say random words in random order until something funny happens. So
Yeah, this kind of ended up in a massive pile of dudes, which
it does. I kind of want you to have just like randomly summon out one of those fire dudes who makes the ground lava and make all of that lava.
I was
Just
gonna just murder everyone, but I guess that would work too. I mean, you know.
I'm upset. I'm upset. There's no holes for you to push people into in this map.
Yeah, there's actually not a whole lot of maps that do that. Also, that chick that I put out is really amazing against this deck because she does 1.5 times damage to this entire faction and gets 30% less, which is real handy.
That is pretty good.
Okay, I think now I murder everyone. It seems like a good murder in time.
So this is a icy looking place. Is there actually rules for moving on ice, or is it just basically flavor instead of making it grass? It's just ice.
Yes, actually, ice has special rules. Although this map is actually mostly snow, there's only ice right around the edge of the lake.
Yep.
So ice, if you're not like Arctic, not used to walking on ice, uh, causes you to have one less move or one less speed, so you get one less AP at the start of the turn. And that's pretty much it. So it's really bad to stand on ice unless you're one of the ice dudes. Which,
The bear no longer has to worry about his remora problem. It's not the least of his worries.
yeah, they all died. And so here's the shiny ground again, which has actually been nerfed recently.
Oh, I remember Shiny Ground. Yeah.
Because it was too good. It's still probably too good, but it has been nerfed. So, but yeah, I just went from that thing almost dying to it being fine. No worries. Because of shiny ground and my Night Dude's healing thing.
And now you got another one. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just real good. And the big thing with shiny ground is it cleanses too, so like any of the effects that he puts on me just go away the next turn. So I'm like, I don't care.
And then
Apparently
he
he
left.
doesn't either. Yeah, he left because I killed both of his mans in a single turn, and he didn't get to kill my other dude.
Yeah, for people who didn't watch the last LP, that's pretty common. The game can take a while to finish off, so people will often leave when it starts looking like they're going to lose because it can be a slow, painful process that you don't come back from anyway.
Although I feel like people leave awfully quickly. Like I feel like a lot of times they could fight it out. But since that one was so short, we've got a double feature for the first video.
Oh my god, that's too much.
I know.
Can't handle this.
That's so much Poxin. It's a lot. I know, but you can handle it. So this is same deck. I had some requests after the last one to play the same deck more frequently, so people could get a little more used to the guys and see them more than once. So there'll be at least 2 or 3 more videos
Yeah.
of this particular deck, so we can get a better feel for it. But this is actually one of my favorite maps because it's got a little bit of everything in it.
I don't see any death holes. It doesn't have a little bit of death hole.
I
Or lava.
I don't
Or
know
ice.
why you're so obsessed with death holes, but
Well, you just said a little bit of everything, and it clearly doesn't have literally everything.
I think there's only one map that has literally everything.
I'm surprised there's any actually. That's pretty funny.
The one map that has a little bit of everything is kind of weird too because it exposes some of the weird, janky mechanics in this game that people always forget about. But we can talk about that when we get to it. The other thing they've done with the revamp is rework some of the maps. I think the next video I have recorded is on one of the redone maps, and they like added real water effects and like other nifty stuff like that. So I think it's cool.
Is there still the best command in any game that makes the little jazz guy come out?
Yes, there is still the Saxy command that brings out the faux epic sax guy.
That's wonderful. I remember. I don't remember what fairies did. I remember they were a thing though.
They were, but this deck is mostly archers with a couple of other things thrown in. I'm not gonna lie, both of these first decks I'm playing aren't very good. This is what I got though. These are the two games I got. So I wasn't gonna just ditch him because the guy wasn't playing a theme I approved of.
I demand the best of my opponents. I never play against Khemri.
Khemri are easy though. Just throw the ball. They can't do anything.
I love Khemri. I really do. That's neither here nor there though.
I still don't have a skeleton deck for this game though. I can't really do skeletons
Yeah,
unless I borrow it off somebody.
I demand Blood Bowl themed pox decks. So we need rats that move fast, and and dwarfs that are no fun at all to play.
I could do a dwarf probably. I could probably do if I'm doing dwarf though. I'm gonna do drunk dwarves just because you can't not.
Isn't that all dwarves? Aren't,
Well, there is a specific guy now that they released recently that has a keg toss ability where he literally throws a keg and gets everyone in the area drunk. So
nice.
it's pretty sweet. I like it.
It's one of those things where dwarvens have racial benefits from being drunk, but everyone else has penalties, so you can kind of buff and debuff their dudes in the same attack.
Exactly. And there are certain dwarves that have extra bonuses too, which would be the focus if I did a drunk deck, but yeah, so this is part of the reason I like this map so much is because it's technically a multi-front map, but the top has a lot more like cat and mouse, and the bottom is just a straight up fight it out.
Yeah, because you each get one, and then you fight over the middle one, where the top one's a little bit more pokey.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can
everyone
see
just
that.
funnels dudes into the middle and the bottom, and it's just a giant brawl, which really works well for paladins, and they can all stand near each other.
Hmm.
The angels are actually one of the ones that were used to be impossible to get, and they updated so you can get them fairly easily now. So that part's nice because they're super handy to have in this deck.
That is a really big snake.
Yes, the snake is actually colossal.
Now, it's one of those things where I'm kind of archery bail. Nice. It's one of those things where I'm kind of wondering if everyone's to scale with each other, and that's just a really, really tiny person on that snake's head, or if the snake is, meant to be huge, and that's a regular sized person.
The snake is meant to be huge. It's a regular size elf, so I don't know if I'd call them a person, but
That's fair.
elves aren't people. Fantasy racism. Get in. But no, so the colossal boa has an ability called colossal that makes it take less damage from small people. It's just that big.
Hmm. Stabbing in the shins, not so effective.
Yep. But it would be more
Versus,
like just kind of tapping it lightly on the tail, considering how large that thing actually is.
it also snakes don't have shins.
Aren't there some snakes that have like vestigial feet though, legs? Like some sea snakes or
There,
something?
there's something like that. I've heard of that before, where they have little vestigial things, but they're not like real limbs in any way. They're just little nubbins,
So they could still theoretically have shins. I'm just saying.
little nub shins. Yeah,
I don't know if your war snake would probably have those left, but you never know.
probably not.
I feel like if you're going to do a war snake, you probably want to have a pretty selective breeding program.
You think the snakes have like grand epic stories from their past of a snake named Achilles, and his only weakness was his Achilles nub.
You're on a
Probably
roll
not.
with the terrible jokes today.
It's all like it's really only thing I got going for me is terrible jokes.
But no, Archery Bale is a cool new thing that makes archers even better. Since I don't know if you remember we did archers last time. It just straight up gives +1 range to every archer standing around it,
Huh.
which is really good.
That is good. Also, it's really funny looking.
It's also immune to arrows, oddly enough. You can't really shoot arrows at the Archery Bale.
Well, no, I mean it makes sense. It was designed to be hit by arrows, so of course it takes no damage when you hit it with arrows.
It's fun little stuff like that. And I don't know why he sent the guy he did up top, but that guy up top has no actual attack. Its thing is anytime you make a ranged attack near it, it shoots you back. Basically, even if you don't shoot it. So it's just a weird choice to send. It was probably the only thing he had, but
Must have been. I find it really thematically appropriate that that your angel in her picture is protecting a dwarf.
yeah, she's the angel of protection.
Yeah,
She's
see,
actually protecting the exact dwarf I just put out. It's a guy by the name of Talgar Ironfist. So it's super thematic now. I don't know why this guy is like keeps entangling my dude when he has an ability that cleanses himself anyway. Like, yeah, that'll help. What? And he stays within range of attacks too, is the other really dumb part. Like, if you're
I
gonna
mean,
like tie him up so they can't attack, at least move out of the way. Like, I feel like that's just common sense.
maybe he figures that you're tied up, so he doesn't have to move. He just has to get out of. Oh wait, no, that's right.
Out of attack range, yeah.
Right, yeah, no, I forgot that melee in this game isn't necessarily just the 4 spaces you're touching.
It depends on the champ because a lot of them are one space only, but this particular guy has
It's
up to 3.
a big enough hammer that you can hit people who are further away.
Yeah, cast magic hammer. This faction's actually all about the hammers. Like, 2 of the 3 heroes have giant hammers. You can call hammers out of the sky to hit people. Like, the big red bushy beard guy has a hammer. I don't know why, but hammers are kind of their thing.
I would think fists of iron. I mean, it's kind of a hammer, right?
See, look, there's a hammer now.
Well, bam. And that's clearly a stun or something, or a daze effect.
It's a stun, yes. This faction has a lot of healing, so I don't know how well that's going to work, but I have a plan. And it's to murder that dude. I feel like murdering's usually a good plan.
Focus fire, get him down, then they can't heal him. Makes sense.
Yep. And the other thing is the dude with the big blue hammer there. Anytime he kills a guy, everyone else heals for 4 HP and gets 1 damage permanently. So you can start getting everybody buffed up with him. And I mean, 1 damage isn't great, but with 5 guys, it's a pretty good bonus. Even if you only get a couple 3 kills with him. It's one of those extra little things helps you out. And run away up top because he actually put out a real dude that can fight me.
Wimp. Just take him on.
Also, part of the revamp was Desert Owl Games is now the official owner, which is why the little balls of resources there look kind of like owls if you squint, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
Now, wasn't that the original owner or something?
sort of. So the original owner was a company called Octopi, who Sony Online Entertainment bought and turned into Sony Online Tucson. And then they ran the game into the ground. And most of the people that used to work at Octopi and then worked at the Tucson studio that got closed went back and started Desert Owl Games. And I think maybe even in the same studio. I don't know if they ever actually moved or not. It would be great if they were in the same office space. That's what I'm gonna pretend anyway. And so now it's back to them, and they've been doing a better job. Also, that guy just misclicked and blinded his own dude.
And then instantly concedes. No? Okay.
Now, even
I'm
if he had
expecting it.
blinded my guy, though, he's on the shiny ground, which means that he would have been fine because it would have cleansed him. So I'm not really sure what the point there was, but I'm sure he had a point. Or maybe he's just dumb. I don't know. Anyway, so like I say, it's back to Desert Owl games now, so they I guess decided to put their own little stamp on the game even more and make the Nora look like the owls. And killing more mans, getting more damage. You know how I do.
Yeah, this is not going good for him. You've killed a couple of dudes. He hasn't killed any dudes. That's not normally good.
Yeah, that's usually a bad sign. Although that happens to me more than it should, and I still don't lose. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just more stubborn and like refuse to quit.
There it is.
Yep, you called it. So yeah, that's the first Paladin game.
A second. First
Well,
Paladin video.
first Paladin video. Yes, thank you.
Clarity is important when we're doing informational LPing.
Thanks,
Yakko.
thanks, Agent. I appreciate
Now the
your fact checking.
and now the video is over.
You called it too soon. There's like 10 seconds left.
Damn it. Okay.
Try again.
Once
Try
upon a
again.
once upon a time, there was a big snake named Achilles, and his mother dipped him in a swamp, but she held onto his nub, and